Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DiChara, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live. This time from downtown Farmingdale, New York. That's right. I took a few days off. I'm visiting my family. I'm with my son Frankie right now. Actually, he's shopping at Target, and because of that, if you're watching live, I'd like you to give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And if you're not watching, you don't have to give us any hashtag. How's that? How's that? So if you don't know me, my name is Joe DiChara. I am an entrepreneur with a CPA license, and I love helping people find money and save money and actually avoid the IRS. I teach people how to become stealth and avoid having to deal with the insanity that's called the IRS right now. You know, the IRS was broken before, but now they're crippled. They're crippled. But sometimes they do try to give us some useful information. And I found this article. Actually, I get emails from the IRS because they like me so much. I'm a special guy in their eyes, so they send me this information, this exclusive information, so that I could share it with you. And this is important, folks, and I'll tell you why. There are all kinds of scams going on out there, and they're telling us what the main scams are and how to avoid them. So there's three main scams going on. There's pandemic-related scams like the economic impact payment, theft, PPP theft, personal information, and also, believe it or not, scams with unemployment. You know, millions and millions of people applied for unemployment, and some of them weren't them, if you could understand that. So let's just go through a couple of these things. I'm going to scroll down the list, and let's talk about the first thing about the economic impact theft. Okay, the EIPs. These are the stimulus payments. So what you should watch out for are any text messages or random phone calls or emails asking you about your banking info. Okay, they don't work like that. The IRS, the SBA, they are not going to call you or send you a text message or an email asking you for your banking info, because that's supposed to be secure info, and you would only give that information on a secure website, namely either the bank website if you're applying for a PPP loan, or the SBA website if you're applying for an EIDL, if you did that. Mailbox theft, okay? This is another one, okay? Occasionally, if there's checks sent and they get lost in the mail, well, sometimes people are stealing them, believe it or not, right out of your mailbox. Stimulus check scams. Another one where, you know, you get either a phone call, an email, or a text, or social media where they're asking you for something like your social security number or personal financial info. The IRS does not do that. They will not contact you directly by phone, by email. It just doesn't work that way. Any information about this stuff, you can go right to the IRS website about refunds, tax information, and anything like that. Now, here's another one that somebody in my family, I believe, experienced, and it has to do with the unemployment insurance. So what happens is, because so many people were applying for unemployment and there were so many holes in the system, you know, the system was on overload, which allows for scammers to infiltrate and give false information. And I'll give you one example. My uncle, who has never applied for unemployment insurance in his life, got a letter from unemployment saying that he qualified for unemployment. And he never applied. So he never applied. And what was strange was that there was a restaurant that he had gone to twice that was listed as an employer. Now, the problem with this is they tried to go on the website and try to find out like what this was all about. And they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time getting through. And you know, I'm hoping that it's not this scam, because what happens is if somebody's collecting unemployment insurance under your name and ID number, guess who has to pay the taxes on that? It's going to get reported to you on what they call a 1099-G. Now, if you're not aware of this, it takes 18 months to 2 years for the IRS to match up the 1099 info with your tax return. So now, if you were hacked, if somebody collected unemployment insurance under your ID number, it's reported. You file your return, you pay or get a refund, and you think you're done. And then 2 years later, you get you don't get a notice saying, "Hey, we have a discrepancy." You get a bill, and then you got to deal with it. So the solution right now is to go on your state website and see if there's a 1099-J. That's the 1099 that reports unemployment insurance. Now, if you didn't collect unemployment and there's a 1099-J, you have a problem. Now, I know this might be an inconvenience to have to do this, but in today's world, people, you know, identity theft, scams like this are going on all the time. I mean, people try to scam me through phone, text, emails. So there's some steps that you could take to combat this. Now, let me see if there's, oh, okay, here's another one. So the IRS, when you move, the IRS sends a PIN, a special number to make sure that it's you. So they will send you a PIN number, personal identification number. You can't file your return unless you have that PIN. Now, if somebody got your PIN, that's not good. Okay, it's a way to lock your account. So let's see what the IRS says on that. Okay, so what the IRS is saying, the way that they combat that is they're going to check the IP PIN and reject it. Oh, this is what happens. Okay, I see. People will file a paper return, not requiring a PIN. So when you file electronically, you need a PIN number. So apparently when you file by paper, and I don't know anybody that files by paper. I have one client that her accountant filed everyone by paper, which you're not supposed to do if you're a CPA enrolled agent, if you're registered with the IRS, you are not supposed to allow your clients to file by paper unless they specifically give you authorization. So here's some of the things that the IRS suggests. First of all, they're asking tax software providers to make sure that their software is as secure as possible. Now, what happens with this is I'm a tax preparer, and now I got to jump through hoops to file a return, be answering all kinds of questions that really have nothing to do with the taxpayer and their income and expenses. They want to make sure that the software isn't suspect. So, in other words, if somebody hacked into my computer and they were able to get into my tax software. They could get all of my clients' info. Well, lo and behold, you can't get into my tax software unless you have my username and password. And not only that, this is another thing. When you do it, you want to do, well, this is another safeguard, but, and this has to do with everything, multi-factor. You want everything to be two-factor authorization. In other words, you don't want to just put your name and username and ID number. You want them to either text you or email or call you to verify that it's you trying to log in. All of my accounts require two-factor authorization, and I'll tell you why. About 8 years ago, my PayPal account got hacked because somehow my web developer got into my computer, and my two-factor authorization was my social security number. So he got my social security number and he was able to hack in. I don't use that method anymore. If I don't have my cell phone, I know the only way somebody can get into one of my accounts is if they have my cell phone. So guess what? If I lose my cell phone or get stolen, I'm changing that two-factor authorization. Okay, so that's another thing. Let's see what else we have here. And they just basically say that that's it on what's going on. Just be aware that there's more scam artists out there than ever. It's hard enough to file your taxes and run a business, but now we also have to guard ourselves against people hacking into us. And if you have an accountant, you should ask them what are they doing to protect your data. You know, as a tax preparer, as a CPA, I have a responsibility to protect my clients' data. We have a written policy on collecting clients' data, and we also have a security officer, a designated security officer that's in charge of our clients' data. So we don't email tax returns. We exchange tax information over a secure server. We don't use, some software, they put passwords, you got to open the return, and that's a pain in the neck. But what happens if somebody has your password? A lot of software companies, the default is like your last 3 letters of your last name and the last 4 digits of your social security number. That's easy to hack into. That's easy. I think I could probably even figure that out. But if you get a sophisticated hacker, it's like kindergarten stuff. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. If any of this stuff resonates with you, if you'd like to talk to me about how to protect yourself, how to save money on taxes, how to generate more cash flow for your business, go to timewithjoe.com and book a free chat with me. I'd be glad to talk to you about your business. Also, I'd like to invite you to my mastermind. It's Mastermind with Joe DiChiara. We meet every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We play Jeopardy. We have fun. We network and we learn. We learn from each other. So God bless. Thank you. I will be back in about a half an hour with another amazing segment of how you can win at business. Thank you.